Hi, I'm here with Crossing Arts, and we're putting on the latest show called Color in the Cold. We have a few of the artists here for the opening reception, and one of them is John Dundas. His work here is behind us. John is a local artist, lives in the area, and has been making this work for quite a while, haven't you, John?
40 years.
40 years, yeah. Can you just tell us, a few things about your process? How do you start a piece? Is it something that you have in your head, or do you just kind of get the materials out and start working?
I've never made a piece that I planned.
Okay.
I sit down, I start moving shapes around on my paper, lay out a drawing, and then see what happens. Every time I try to control something, I ruin it.
Okay.
So it's a matter of just letting myself do it rather than trying to do anything in particular.
Okay, so process driven,
very much.
Materials.
It's all about just losing myself and letting it happen.
Okay. And speaking of materials, it looks to me, the first time I saw your work, it felt like watercolor, but it's not necessarily.
It's a budget concern.
It's a budget concern.
Acrylic paint is dirt cheap.
Okay.
And this is also, in my process, I don't like bleeding. I don't like running colors. I don't like messes. I like clean lines. I use a cold press printmaker paper that doesn't bleed, and watercolor would bleed. Acrylic doesn't bleed. So it allows me to control the line, and then if I want a wet area, I outline it, make it all wet, and then work within that.
Oh, okay.
But the acrylic was basically, watercolors are so expensive. I don't know, what cheap.
Yeah, and the acrylic gets you this.
Yeah, I've been working in this same style, haven't varied it for 40 years.
Okay.
Same paper, same material.
Okay. Is there are a number of pieces here, and these are two that have sort of this reoccurring theme of this Mr. Businessman. It seems to be.
I used to be Mr. Businessman.
Okay.
I went through working a management job and wearing a suit every day, hating my life, trudging through a boring job, and did it because that's what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You grow up, you get a job, you go to work. If I had thought about it and was more aware as a youngster, I would have tried to become an artist.
Okay.
I didn't have the self-confidence or anybody to mentor me, to lead me into that, really.
Sure.
And plus, I was a lost kid,
Okay.
I mean, my misspent youth was very misspent.
Well, we're excited to have you in the show, and even though in your youth you may have thought about becoming an artist, here at Crossing Arts we see you as one, so we're happy to have you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's nice to put my stuff out and get some positive feedback. That makes me want to do more.
Good. We hope you do.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, John. Any questions for John about his work?
Have you done silk screens too? Because when I look at it from a distance, it looks like a silk screen.
I have not, no. It's all done by hand. I get asked that a lot, whether it's printed or anything, and I don't have the money to do that process. That's an expensive process. But I have a brother who does it, and he's amazing, on t-shirts.
Yeah, it does have that kind of print quality to it. Yeah.
That's my anal nature. I just want clean lines and smooth surfaces. And,
sure.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We're here with Sarah Duberowski for Crossing Arts' most recent show, Color in the Cold. Sarah's work is here behind us, and we're excited that she was interested in being part of this group show. Sarah, can you tell us just a little bit about your work and about yourself as an artist?
Sure. So I have always really enjoyed creativity of all sorts and have done that since I was a really young kid. I've always done it more personally for myself and have not been very open to doing it for other people or sharing it a whole lot until the past couple of years. My husband was in the Navy, and his last 3 years of service, we were stationed in the Mojave Desert with the Navy, if you can imagine, at a very tiny base that was really remote. and there wasn't a whole lot to do. And I had a infant that, our first son, and I started painting more and more just as a personal outlet. And then a friend saw what I was doing and asked for some commissions for that Christmas. And then COVID happened, and suddenly I had all kinds of time on my hands. And I decided that was kind of my chance to start developing my work more, to be able to put it out there for other people. So 2020 was when I started painting more seriously. I mainly work in watercolor and gouache because I am still a stay-at-home mom. I try to keep my painting work time to nap times. Sometimes those get cut really short and you have to leave your things at a moment's notice. So watercolor and gouache are both very forgiving mediums for like having to abandon paint-covered brushes, because when they dry, they don't ruin your brushes. You can reconstitute the paint.
Yeah.
Nothing's toxic. It's easy to have around kids. So before kids, I had been dabbling in some oil painting and things like that. That's not very conducive to life with small children. So
it's better if they get into the gouache than oil paints.
Yes, it's been a pivot.
Yes, awesome. Your work doesn't read as sort of classical watercolor. The gouache makes sense to me because there's this little more of this opaqueness.
Yeah.
What?
And I should say that's what most of these are.
These are the gouache. Yeah. What catches you in terms of your subject matter?
Yeah. So because I had begun painting more and more while we were in the desert, that was highly influential in the work I was doing there. I was very inspired by our surroundings, the landscape, trying to find whatever beauty I could in a really desolate environment and in a place that was very hard for a lot of people to live. A lot of people in our small town were stationed there with the Navy. They were not there by choice. So it was a difficult place for a lot of people to spend years of their lives. And it took like an hour and a half to get to Target or the next big city. So you were kind of stuck there, for better or for worse, most of the time. And I started using my art as a way to highlight what are the good and beautiful things in this place. I was asking people about what do you like to do while you're here? Where do you like to go? And I was painting those places. So I had a series of landscapes that I ended up doing that were of some of those particular places people enjoyed, hiking or sightseeing or just more beautiful views. There are really spectacular sunsets in the desert.
Yeah,
so I did a series of sunset paintings, and people really resonated with a lot of those because it magnified what was really good about a difficult place, a difficult experience. So when we moved here, my husband and I are both from Minnesota. I again was very inspired by location and what had we missed so much with all those years in the desert? Water.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's kind of been my
splashing water, that sound of it.
Yes, the enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
I've been very inspired by Samantha French. I don't know if you've seen her mural up in Nisswa. She has
probably have.
It's like at what's the brewery up there? That
Big Axe. Just coming up at one, is that right?
Yeah, but I think Big Axe is before you get to downtown.
No, it's right.
Is it? Is that it? Okay, so that's where she has this beautiful mural, and she does a ton of really detailed water painting. That's actually how I got into gouache. I loved what I had seen of hers. Her parents were the ones who started Stonehouse coffee roasters as well. And they used to carry a lot of her prints. It's now changed ownership, but the coffee shop used to be full of big prints of her paintings as well. And I was looking up her website to learn more about the work that she did, and she does work in oil and in gouache. That was kind of the first time I'd heard of gouache, and it sent me on a rabbit trail to find out more about that. And that's part of why I've been working in that as well. And she mainly paints people in pools,
Okay.
a lot of cooler water. So I've been very interested in learning how do you translate that to lakes and warmer tones and getting sun on the water and things
Sure.
like that. So
Yeah.
last summer, anytime we were at the beach, I was asking friends' kids, like, can I take your picture? Will you run through the water for me?
Nice.
Do that again. Go this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, you got willing subject matter
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Kids are
It's
usually
a
like,
lot of
okay,
fun."
lady wants me to. Awesome. Well, what do you, so you sounds like you've kind of started to develop some bodies of work since being home. You've got these cloud series and these water series, kind of landscape series. Where do you see this going for you? Do you have any goals as an artist, or what's your next step?
Yeah. I'm still really intrigued by moving water, and not just like, water moving in a river or a stream or something like that, or waves, but like water being moved by people and people's interaction with water. So I think that's something I'm still exploring. I feel like I'm still working on like a accurate representation of that.
Sure.
But I can see that in the future, I would be interested in pushing the boundaries of the colors included, or, which parts of the picture do you leave really sharp and clear, and which parts do you change in some way?
So more water in the water
Yes.
series. Yeah,
Yes.
great. You've picked a very easy thing to paint.
Right.
I mean, water and glass just is like the two go-tos. Well, we're excited that you could be part of the show Color in the Cold, and we're excited to have your work here hanging at Crossing Arts. So,
Awesome.
yeah. Any other questions for Sarah? All right. Well, thanks for everyone for coming out. We've got Katy Yenter here, and we're standing next to her work. Katy, can you introduce yourself a little bit and kind of just talk about how you came to this work and painting?
So I've lived in Baxter for the last 3.5 years, so I'm still pretty new to the area, and feel like coming here and getting to see this gallery and everything has encouraged me to sort of step out further in art. I've always enjoyed doing art since I was a kid, but never considered being an artist for some reason, even though my father is.
Okay, it runs in the family a little bit.
Yeah, so I learned a ton of stuff from him when I was a kid,
Okay.
but kind of pursued other things academically, and maybe got back into painting a little more when my kids were little, and wanted to do fun playing around painting projects, and then I would sit there for a couple hours after them. No, I'm still painting, and then I think just with changes in our schedule moving up here, and during COVID time, I had a lot of free time, and doing art just brings me joy and peace. It's calming to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of my...
Great. And did you enter into art making with painting, or had you worked in other mediums, or is this kind of what called to you, or what
I
connected
used to
you?
do more just drawing and work with colored pencils and things like that, trying to do very more realism, kind of play around with that, and then
Okay.
kind of came to painting later, but from a totally different approach of not trying to control it. Like if I sit down and plan something and try to paint a specific scene, I'm always upset because I always mess it up. Like you said, it never is what I picture, but I kind of come to it a lot with feeling, and I take a lot of inspiration from nature, but it might not show in what I do because it's very kind of abstract. The feeling that nature gives me, and the colors, I love watching colors bleed together and seeing what they do. So I sort of like the lack of control
Sure.
of, a lot of these areas aren't planned out. They're the way two colors mix together, a little bit here and then a lot there. So kind of experimenting and having fun.
Okay.
I also love just splattering paint down and seeing what happens.
So there must that is interesting to me because while they look, they do have that organic feel. I definitely feel like there's textures and kind of surface here that references nature, quite strongly, not directly, like it's not a leaf or a piece of bark. But while there's that looseness, you kind of corral it, you kind of control it into this place where, it's interesting to hear that your process is kind of a little more playful or loose when, the end result to me reads as, controlled, thoughtful, and, finished, if you would.
That's interesting.
That's more of a comment than a question, of course, but.
I guess I should say I do watercolor first.
Okay.
Sometimes work with acrylic as well, but then I go back in with ink as kind of the secondary thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I like to work corral because that's kind of a little bit
Kind of
what it
inking
feels
in
like
the areas.
of color variations and obviously parts where there's two different colors against each other, but if you look more closely, I'm always seeing like a slightly lighter shade of green here than here. I'm trying to emphasize that and show it, so it kind of turns into a whole new thing.
Yeah.
I always forget to take a picture of it right after I painted it.
It'd be
And
interesting
the
to see.
process,
Yeah.
because it does look really different. So maybe that's where
Yeah, that's kind of where the control element comes in a little bit. Control isn't maybe the right word, but because it's not like you're controlling it towards a destination, but you're kind of just almost like a call and response, perhaps, with the paint and the color, and then the ink kind of responds to it. Cool. Well, we're happy to have your work here. It is perfect for the Color in the Cold show. Does anyone else have questions for Katy about the work? Or just comments or responses to it?
Yeah, how long have you done this kind of work?
about 3 years maybe.
And when you were a kid, did you always think this is what I really want to do?
No, I had moments because my dad is an artist, but he didn't make his living as like a freestanding artist. He did industrial design and things. So I had it as like I love doing this, but I'm not sure it could be a career. But I had totally other aspirations, and it was just always in the background. So I love art, but I wasn't serious about it.
How long can you focus on one of those type things before you have to take a break?
I could probably sit there for at least an hour.
Yeah.
Focusing on it. It's usually something else external stopping me from
Yeah, kids.
Yes.
Yeah, usually kids. Definitely. All right. Well, thanks, Katy. We're glad to have you here.